my life. So ever say something like that, ever again. All right, what is the service of the Jew? What you can do about it? Well, I'm definitely going to do the adventures now.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Nate here. And welcome back to another one of the long-form investigative guidance videos. Let me just start off by saying this thing can get unlockable. Because today, I'd like to tackle the subject of Emperor Titus II's assassination. And more specifically, focus on the question of why were we ordered to do it. So, the assassination of the Emperor is, of course, the defining goal of the episode 5 Star story. As shortly after the joint defection of assassination, a strange man named Amon Otier offered us a fortune of wealth and limitless prestige. If the brothers can just put an end to Emperor's reign, we obviously accept such a challenge, and after much trauma and loss, do kill the monk. But who was Amon Otier, and why did he want Titus II job? The gentleman explicitly avoids explaining his motives whenever we ask about that. And beyond a few vague descriptions, he never elaborates on his grand plan. Was Amon Otier working with evil cowboy for weaken the realms of magic? Maybe he just wanted to prove that one of his Titus plans was a better. Or maybe Amon was just really mad that it had personal grudge. Since 2011 has debated this subject, and for the most part, everyone, myself including until recently, just accepted that this is one of those mysteries that we'll have to wait and see about. There's no concrete answer to the game. What I realized, though, over the last few years, being an Elder Scrolls versus primarily focuses on really cool, tiny details in the games, is that this history is substantially larger and more complex than just what the Elder Scrolls 5 tells us. And it's still getting bigger. What I mean by this is that there's been some recent revelations by Bethesda and discoveries in other Elder Scrolls games that appear to particularly well and make everything all more fascinating. What I do in this video is compiling everything we learned about Titus II's death. We'll start by going over the Jarvis main plus line again. This will, one, make sure everyone's up to speed and do the familiarize anybody who read from Skyrim in the office. And two, going over the body and moving with the opportunity to point out some specific, essential details in my opinion. Next, we'll assess what the Elder novel is revealed about the temple. And believe it or not, while Skyrim doesn't give us much background info on Titus II, it was stellar involved. And it doesn't get analyze some new info for the Elder Scrolls Online and the Elder Scrolls Legends. That can't be overlooked. Finally, we'll end this video by putting all of those pieces together and looking at the forces that emerged. I'll admit, we're still not 100% sure of exactly what was going on, but we're still more closer than ever, and I am sure you want to get it done. I don't make these videos unless I think this is a really cool revelation. But anyway, without any further ado, let's dig it first and figure out why somebody put a price on the most powerful man in Tamriel. And before we begin, quick word from today's video sponsor. Me, our other sponsor Backstab. So, if you like this video, like, rate, so very much appreciated. It does wonders for the YouTube algorithm. And if you really like, maybe subscribe. That would also be incredibly helpful. Thanks for being on the space of that soon. Anyway, let's jump into it. Hold on. So, starting with the subject. So, shortly after the players had joined the Dark Brotherhood, completed a few podcasts, what we said to the ordinary company Bowling Cruiser by the night, they need a potential new customer. When we arrive, we'll find Amon Otier, a well-polished French noble, and his personal bodyguard, an imperial man named Francis, who doesn't speak much. Amon will talk at us for a few moments and express his belief that the fact that the Brotherhood actually showed up. The way he talks and moves all suggests this friend is a man of wealth and luxury, and is not used to dealing with rugged ne'er-do-wells like us. Anyways, when he finally finishes gushing, Mr. Otier will explain that he wishes to hire the Dark Brotherhood assassinate the emperor, and they'll give us 2 items to take back to our superiors, one of which is a letter that supposedly outlines his offer's goal. The second is a strange dual imprint, which he says is worth paying 30, and it's really as a sort of deposit. Amon says that if we agree, we can just keep the amulet as a way to get them serious, and once we actually feel good about it, they'll give us so much more. Now, given this conversation, our brother Frank consistently mentions how so much planning has gone into the meeting with us, and it appears quite obvious that a lot of work has already been put in on this guy's benefit. Additionally, we can ask why he wants to kill the emperor, and he'll say this.
It is really the open one that will elicit accepted with the person, the temple of the one of the curious cut down from a job.
But there is change in its digital policy. There are no change for similar change. Fine. So these objectives are definitely good, but we're not sure actually what changes are we looking for. Do these conspirators want lower taxes, or maybe they're after something bigger? Who knows? Anyway, after leaving our meeting, our next objective is to drop the letter and talk with Astrid, the leader of the Dark Brotherhood in Skynet, and let her decide whether or not she's interested in pursuing this contract. Though, on our way, we can open up and read that letter we were given. I'll just read it all for you guys. I know it's long, but it's kind of helpful. And remember, it's supposed to be for Astrid's eyes only. We're not supposed to be looking at this. Quote, most esteemed overseer, as was already communicated to your subordinate, I wish to hire your organization for some delicate ambassadorial work. All of this, of course, would culminate in a historic meeting with the leader himself. In order to secure an audience with the leader, some secondary meetings must first take place. They have been outlined below. 1. You must attend the upcoming wedding at the Temple of the Divines in Solitude. The bride must be given a gift she will never forget, one that will give all the solitude to talk to them, and with Sybil undoubtedly reach the ears of the leader himself. 2. A certain high-ranking military officer, permanently stationed in Skyrim, is responsible for securing your safety. When this officer learns of the security, he will begin the necessary security arrangements. You must alert this officer's plans and meet with his people to ensure the appropriate security for your eventual audience with the leader. Listen, several months ago, the leader planned to visit the Skyrim that was canceled unexpectedly. In that time, a world-renowned chef was contacted and brought to Skyrim in order to prepare a lavish meeting. That chef remains in Skyrim on vacation.
Hello? Hello? Yeah? I'm here. You expect this? Anyway, watching. Okay, maybe.
Cause my neck feel numb. Corners round my neck, she say I got a lot of charm. Like my Whoa, but you gotta watch it, 'cause it might happen. It's some kind of magic. You can complicate it. I don't really know, I'm trying to figure out. I can't quite explain it. Let me bleed, let me sweat, let me scream. Y'all wanna feel the heat? I'm gonna break the curse. Listen to me first. Don't jinx it. Let me work. Yeah, let me work. Gotta break the curse. I wanna feel the heat. And I wanna make it hurt. Yeah, let me work. If you think it, watch out, 'cause it might happen. And if you think it, watch out. Good and bad things happen. Man of magic, whoa. Let me bleed, let me sweat, let me scream. Yeah, I wanna feel the heat. Gonna break the curse, so let me do my worst. Shh, don't jinx it. Yeah, let me work. Yeah, let me work. Let me work. I wanna feel the heat, and I wanna make it hurt. So let me work. Yeah, let me work. Magic, let me break the curse. With magic, I wanna feel the heat, and I wanna make it hurt. So let me work.
Was he twisted and convinced him that it would be more ominous to go through in his place. I realized disgusting all of this non-specific and do apologize, but I do believe this is necessary to ensure security. Clearly, organization has been destroyed, and all the individuals obtain all the essential information before meeting has taken place. One deciding part of our arrangement has been carried out. That is, when you have secured an audience with the leader himself and brought such business to a close, I will contact you about final payment. Most sincerely, a friend.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Well, this isn't really an offer letter. It's more an instruction manual of how to kill the emperor. It's a bit vague, but that seems to be for security reasons. Glenn gets able to stop carrying this note by appearing in authorities, and why want anybody to know what we want. So, the mobile encryption makes sense. Nonetheless, by providing instructions, Mr. O'Keefe is demonstrating the knowledge from ISV consent and we're asking knowledge about his bodyguards, activities, and it's saved out of research was done. Anyway, Tom is on the other side. Once we get to Astrid, she'll look at the gun. And believe it or not, Astrid will know if we got it beforehand and stole us for doing so. But Dorman will be interested and signal she plans to accept. But first wants to know how much that train handling works. And we want the place to tell you how. Nowadays, it's moved with a few skills and she wants him for president. Here's where stuff starts to get kind of weird. When we meet Delvin, he points out that our amulet is no ordinary piece of jewelry. It's actually an amulet of the Elder Council. That's a big deal, because it means this amulet could only have come from somebody sitting on the outside of the council. Mr. Malvin is gone. We got our hands on one of these. And he seems a little bit terrified when he wonders how he's going. Because apparently he doesn't with the council to figure out a bit of anyway, in exchange for the animals, Delta offers to go to Berlin a whopping 15,000 scepters worth of credit from the material.
Yeah, we'll discuss that outside. What is the brother of the steady. What are you about here? Delta himself. I don't want to go. There's an argument that was an open council. Thinking about the best for this whole culture. I'm 7 people out of that. And I thought that it's the revolution was taking to do with the council. That's fine.
Okay, so let's follow to the right here because there's a lot going on. Firstly, you may be wondering, what is the Elder Council exactly? And why is there two matter so much? Well, Skyrim's plotline really doesn't give us a lot of info. Thankfully, there's a numerous books we can read which explain it all. And in fact, Elder Scroll things, we even interacted with the Council. The Elder Council is sort of like the imperial senate of the Septon Empire. They do a lot of the day-to-day management that the ruler can't be bothered with. And we have the power to pass laws and mobilize armies. Each other council has Emperor's second in command. The exact size of the Elder Council and how powerful they seem to be changes quite a bit throughout the various historical accounts. But all the is for all. But during the events of the Elder Scrolls for Oblivion, they were basically bumping the whole nation and had around a dozen or so members. So the fact that Amon Mosier was able to get one of their signature amulets is a big thing. It solidifies that he is a powerful, serious business, and it opens up the question of how to break up the history. Did Mosier feel it? I doubt it. Maybe he's a part of a conspiracy, being supported by an emperor or emperors of the council. We'll talk more about this point later, but at least now we know Amon means business. Coming here, what happens next in the Dark Sort of quest line, other sort of climax and ending, is probably around the purposes of this video. So it's after returning to Ashford, we start following the instructions left by the letter, and Sora the Emperor's of Skyrim by killing the Covenant base on her representative, Solomon. When Titus II arrives from the door, we pose our kitchen Jack and sneak into this kitchen to poison his food. The Norwegian then takes said poisoned food to the Emperor and watch as he eats it and dies. Mission chocolate, but, well, sorry. Turns out, that wasn't the Emperor's system. It was just a decoy. Someone to talk the authorities to a book, and it was brought to out of the trap. We then have to find a way out of this, and arrive back at the door of the sanctuary, just in time to watch it being burned to the ground by the Imperials. As you rush in and walk, many of the assassins you throw into love are one by one killed, until you finally find Astrid herself, lying burned in her blood. Astrid admits she's the one who betrayed you, because she thought if the Empire ever said they just killed you, and the brother of forever. But spoiler alert, the Empire killed Boston too. In her dying words, Astrid offers a final apology and begs the Dragonborn to finish Avon Mosier's job, since now she knows he was wrong. Alright, look, I just described like 4 or 5 hours of gameplay. This is where stuff begins to get relevant again. Or, as far as we're concerned. After we reset the Stewart Sanctuary, we'll end up losing to an old Dark Southern base that was abandoned centuries ago up north near the city of Dawson, and will be joined by the only 2 other surviving assassins, a Red Guard customer named Mosir, and a vampire doctor named Event, and maybe a clown man named Sister, like let's say. Everyone agrees to continue with the plan to kill the Emperor, despite the recent setbacks, and that's not going to be the money more than ever. Eventually, it turns out, the real Emperor is still in Skyrim, aboard a ship called the Kataraya, docked in Sullivan's Harbor. Astrid must not have betrayed you until you already forced the hitman into Skyrim, so there's still time to kill him. What happens next is pretty simple. We speak aboard the boat, fight some Jonathan, and eventually, finally, right into Emperor Titus II's personal bedroom. You're after so long, the Dragonborn would stare down the actual man. You can't just kill him straight away. So if you set up to speak with me first, so this is that is cool. Titus already knows who you are and what you plan to do, and he's not going to try to stop you. He claims that he's well aware of the Dark Brothers can never be stopped once they've set their minds to something, and he's made peace with his intentions death. His only requests are that he kill him quickly, and also kill him, which had to wrath and conflict.
And once more I prove them and the marvels the fool. I prove you can't stop the Dark Brotherhood. Never could. Now, don't shout. You haven't come this far just to stand there gawking. But of course, you're not there to take the test, but so it is with assassin and innocent. Yes, I must die. You must have learned the blow. It is simply the way it is. But I wonder, would you suffer more damage more words before it is done? I think you agree. You're guilty. I've accepted that fate, but regardless of your facts of life, and since we do a survey, I think so. I will say, done which, while the next, there is one who seconds human. This person, whomever initiated it must, not been a butcher, one should be rewarded for my assassination. I want you to hear the very person who ordered it, which is this guy. Thank you. Now, I'll introduce you to some facts, I suppose.
Now, let's pause right here again. Obviously, that's what he knows about some unstoppable force for whatever, but that's actually not supposed to be.
When it came time to take things to the next level, I knew that I had to get the website some way to everybody. I'm a job pilot.
By the time the events in Skyrim were taking place, the Dark Brotherhood is to the most flashing stuff. It is shells full of stuff from thousands of years ago. The Skyrim chapter that just dealt all time is left, and what the organization is outside the province and the rest of the family hour had already been destroyed by the Empire. So why does this dude pretend they're so big and fast? Is he just trying to be nice? Maybe it's like it doesn't make sense. Then there's the reality that Meat Man vindictively wants you to kill whoever sent you, which raises more eyebrows. Like, was he aware of the plot against him for a while? Or is he just a really vengeful person? No. Or is Paul in the way? Okay, unpause. Let's keep going. We're always on the next. After the Emperor is dead, we report back to Aemon O'Gear, whose appearance has noticeably changed since our first meeting. His hair is messier, his face is dirtier, his eyes droopier. It's like the writers don't want us to know he's been really stressed these past few weeks. Here's what I'll say when we tell him the great news.
I never. I received this news just moments ago. This is glorious. My friends, you may not be, but you have served against indeed all the tableau in ways you cannot possibly imagine.
From here, we'll be given about 20,000 seconds worth of tools and can choose to take our money and run. Or, cut down Aemon O'Gear, as the Emperor requested. It really doesn't matter. But what I want to focus on is what Aemon said when he gave me the technique. And how he praised us for forward focus, delivering the Empire and all of Tamriel. Such a statement strongly teaches that Aemon O'Gear's own experience in humanity really believes that what they do is for the good of the Second Empire and the realm, not the opposite. He thinks they're making the kingdom stronger rather than weaker. I think when we combine this information with what we know about the Amulet of the Elder Council, we can safely say that Aemon O'Gear wasn't in league with the thousands or any organization that wanted to destroy the country, but instead, he was helping it grow. It's possible to reckon those kindness and success will be better than good. So that's kind of nice, if you like the Empire. Another thing to point out before we completely finish up with Scotland is that this is the most raggedy looking person in the army is Army, and entirely different and than the first one he saw. They have separated him and he fought them separately for the confidence. This stuff alone isn't a tremendous villain, but there have been lots of good looking NPCs, and creating a new NPC represents the same character with minor changes is totally cool. But the rapid version of Amex, for some reason, has a different nose type, different eye type, and different ear type than Slovenian. One pretty sure says to make those alterations. If they bring it back to the name on what's last or whatever, it's pretty simple to rubble up the head with they think of it tailored to it. But structural changes to his face are impossible to justify. That's what they do in Americanism, and it's funny. Things like this are normal with the best of duplication tendencies. In fact, I don't think it's another example at all. Such an inconsistency has split the community on what it could mean. Some players believe that it must suggest Gravity Amon is a different person entirely, an imposter if you will, and if you ended up killing him, the real one still got away. Other players chalk this inconsistency up to a simple development mistake that has no narrative consequence. Personally, I'm inclined to agree with that latter possibility, and I do suspect this was a mere oversight by the Bethesda. So, it's still a continuous topic, and important to note. Okay, well, now we're finally trying to get Skyrim started posing questions. Thank God. What I want to do next is start to examine Titus II personally, and run through his own background / rise to power. In doing so, Ross could identify some potential reasons that someone might want to stand him. Then, we'll look some additional video on those here, and look at what leads to According to numerous books, Titus II assumed the imperial throne in the year 168 of the Holy Era. The 33rd Gothic Palace, the Saxon Empire, was founded by a man named Titus II at the beginning of the Third Era, roughly 500 years before Titus II was born. Titus II created the empire after conquering virtually all of Canada, and the throne was originally designed to be passed down to his direct descendants, and his direct descendants only. So, after Titus died, his son Pelagius II became emperor. Then Pelagius' daughter Petra II got the job. Then it went over its son again. Titus II was also the dragonborn himself, which meant that all of his descendants shared the dragon blood, allowing them and the empire they ruled to receive active divine favor from the god Acheron, the lord of dragons and blood. This is why they consider implies so Kelly, the symbol of the dragon. Furthermore, most critics say that after Titus' death, he ascended into God and became a divine himself. Only getting further credence to the idea that his heirs responsible could have the right to rule. You get the picture of these paintings. There's a whole lot of religion into all of these things that only accepted could ever be found. So, how did the guy with the last name really get this job? Well, okay. For most of the Empire's history, things were great. It existed in a state of relative peace and prosperity under the Second Dynasty, and it continued to control over the Dominion. However, everything changed with the arrival of the Aborigine tribes and the formation of the Third Era, 200 years prior to Skyrim, when the dangerous god Odin Dagon invaded and conquered the realms of men with armies that gave them the dark monsters. This, of course, was the basis for the Elder Scrolls work for the use of Old One. While the invasion was eventually stopped, largely in thanks to the player's work, the last stepped emperor died in the process and left no heir, as he sacrificed himself in order to save his people. For the first time in the Empire's history, the royal bloodline was now extinct, and it ended on the sort of cliffhanger, where we love to wonder what would happen next to the kingdom, without a little more obvious hints. The answer was the Beast family. So, what we know happened in the whole 200-year gap between Oblivion and Skyrim mostly comes from an Elder Scrolls novel, written by responding to the war. And that's exactly what the eruption of the Red Mountain, the largest volcano on the planet, all the books in the empires just started collapsing for the day. And this chaos, a serial reporter by the name of Titus Mead the Third, this one Titus Mead the First, not Titus Mead the Second, see the number two. Sometime around 40 months of the 87 capturing an individual city with just 1,000 men, and proceeded to convince my force the elder councils to recognize him as the new rightful legacy. Soon, he bumped the support of most of what remained in the army, and back the provinces of Heimdall and Hammerstone, which eventually left. After that, he gave way to the sons of Infamous, and alas, the third series of the finally captured its UWC. We're not 100% sure how Titus Mead II is related to Titus Mead I. We know for a fact he's not his son or grandchild, but it seems like Mead II is his great-great-grandchild, or something to that effect. I know, it's confusing. There's still a lot of things. But all the good we can identify a few potential reasons someone might want to assassinate on this president. This dynasty's claim to the throne isn't so big. It isn't both the same divine blessings that historically mentioned in the second report. Their right to rule hails exclusively from the fact that they were stronger than anyone.
I think he was putting in the activity out there. I wouldn't take that very so well.
What else? So Titus Mead II takes claim to the throne is already a possibility. But aside from a bad legend, there's a whole thing holding this defense. Because his claim is seen by most as a total failure, largely studied by the Great War. Just 3 years after Titus Mead II inherited power, in year 171 of the Third Era, the older king, a new United States intelligence of relatives, declared war on the Empire. And for the next 5 years, a brutal conflict engulfed the continent. One that did not go well for the Cubans. Various cities in Syria were captured, Hammerfell wasn't taken, and even the capital itself was overrun by the onslaught. For a while, it seemed pretty apparent that the entire empire was likely to be conquered by the old Persian victims. But then, Titus Mead II orchestrated a bit of a comeback. Allegedly. You see, after the Elves captured the imperial city, they left the overwhelming majority of their Syrian forces there, almost the entire army in action. Titus Mead, on the other hand, was recently retreated, desperately battled every single Titus stand he could muster, and from there, launched a counter to retake the capital. The Cubans were outnumbered dramatically, somewhere around 4 or 5 to 1. However, Alex was so overconfident and thought they always won the entire war, and so arrogantly proud of their numbers, they never really bothered to prepare an actual defense. So when he was charged, they immediately fell into disorganization and were almost completely slaughtered. Instead, Titus Mead personally led the men into battle, wielding the sword known as Gold Thrust. This is a really weird and seemingly overlooked detail in the book. You see, Goldbrand is an artifact of Bohemia, the goddess of plots and destruction. Why on earth would the Emperor of Ten be wielding a sword from that goddess? Sadly, the books never really emphasize this in the latest philosophy. Well, turns out it wasn't Titus Mead II who orchestrated that good comeback. It was actually the player character from the Elder Scrolls legend. The Elder Scrolls legend, of course, is the Elder Scrolls part of it, and its main quest line takes place during the events of the Great War. In it, we learn that after the Elves initially captured the Imperial City, Titus Mead was greatly wounded, and he gave his honors address and looked like him and leadership in the battle, and he already had the sword of Goldbrand. That's what happened.
Someone's killed them. The divines. The Emperor waited. It's too late. This is no shield for easy assault.
No! The troops. Us.
Believe the Emperor is strong. Stranger, you have proven a mighty warrior. Take my honor. My helm, none will know anymore. Leave the battle in my stead. The fate of the Empire is in your hands. Free from prying armies, the Imperial forces launched a surprise attack from the west, followed by a similar. Attack from shooting all here.
Anyway, I digress. Once the Imperial City was finally retaken and the Great Elven Army defeated, things still weren't looking tremendous for the Empire. Nearly 2/3 of their fighting men were dead, and there was just no effective way they could continue to mobilize troops. Meanwhile, the nation. There's a very big debate over whether or not the Empire should have just said screw the treaty and kept on fighting anyway. In Skyrim, the Storm folks argued that the humans could have won if they just kept on serving. But it's also very likely that if this devastating treaty wasn't signed, mankind would have just got conquered anyhow. No matter, practical or not, signing this treaty made Titus Meade absolutely hated amongst many other subjects, and his popularity was definitely big theory that's recently gained a lot of steam, is that maybe because Titus Meade II knew he was so unpopular, he told the his on himself. Like, he told Avon the Pierre to put a contract on. The idea being that he knew his successor would be a better ruler than he and would have a better chance of ruling the Empire, so he just opted to take his own life, to admit that deception happened quickly. That could explain how Avon the Pierre got promoted, and why he believed he was doing something to deal with it. It could also explain why the Emperor wanted Avon killed after the war. He wanted to kill his death a secret. But still, this theory has some glaring holes. Like, if you know you're unpopular, why not just abdicate and resign rather than take your own life? Proponents of this idea argue that if he just resigned and peacefully passed the crown over, his successor might be equally unpopular. But if he died in some horrifying assassin accident, that would create an actual tragedy that would rally the people around the next person. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this concept. To me, that weird logic of getting yourself assassinated so your son becomes more popular isn't particularly coherent, and there's nothing in the game that provides any substance to that memory. Furthermore, Titus's next in line is also a big ultimate mystery, because we don't know who's going to take the throne next. The next is permission voting character, so as to not reveal whether or not he can be killed. We don't know if it's a Titus III or a Titus IV, or if he had a daughter. And if the player opts to join the Empire through the events of Sky of the Civil War, they'll have to take in all of the general focus, in which the player undying allegiance to Emperor Titus II. But if you want to complete the government of the Flesh Line, and you kill Titus by the time you take this oath, you won't experience the Titus anymore. Instead, you'll swear undying allegiance to and unnamed Emperor.
Upon my honor, I will swear undying allegiance to the Emperor Titus II. Upon my honor, I will swear undying loyalty to the Emperor.
So we don't even know who comes next. Another thing that I personally like a lot more is that Uriel Septim V, or one of his descendants, called the Danes. For those of you who don't know the tale, Uriel Septim V was the emperor of the Empire back in around the 600s of the Third Era. I think that time might actually be a little off. Anyway, Uriel Septim V was considered a military mastermind, and after winning a series of decisive battles and conquering numerous islands, he decided he wanted to conquer the following continent of Apocalypse. So, one of the days. So, yeah. How expensive to look at? Oh. Thus, the man assembled the largest army the Empire had ever seen. Dozens of legions, mustered a massive navy, and sailed east. And never came back. Long story short, his son, Uriel VI, would end up becoming the new emperor after he was missing for 13 years. Not too long ago, I did an entire deep dive on Uriel's Akadiri expedition, and long story short, all of the sources we have very specifically imply that he might still be alive for the Akadiri. Well, by 201 of the four pharaohs which died of old age, but it's possible he could have had an entire life on Akadiri and had kids and grandchildren. storyline didn't stop through the Oblivion crisis, and there is another section out there who could take the throne with a better plan than IUP. In fact, when the Bethesda was originally first starting to write Skyrim, they wanted the plot to be about Uriel, one of his descendants, returning to Tamriel with an armed dragon and rebuilding the Empire. That storyline ended up getting canned, but still, maybe, just maybe, somehow one of Uriel's kids or great-great-great-great-grandkids swam or made it back to Tamriel somehow and built up a collection of supporters. And that is why Amon Moutier is trying to get rid of Titus Mead. It's also a stretch, but a fun thing to think about. Alright, well, now let's take a minute and talk more about Amon Moutier and do our best to dive into his backstory. Unfortunately, for obvious reasons, this character is a lot less fleshed out, and he isn't mentioned in the Elder Scrolls novel, so we have less to work with. But there's still some cool points made of it. So if we ask Babette, one of the characters in the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary, if she knows anything about Amon Moutier and Skyrim, she'll explain that the Moutier family is one of the most powerful and wealthy in all of Tamriel, and has very ancient roots. So won't elaborate any further.
The man is living close to us. It's a very old house of family, firmly established in sand of trust today.
Not only that, during the events of the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, we could meet a friend Nolan named Francois Moutier living in Cyrano, who very likely is one of Amon's ancestors. And Francois is actually involved with the Oblivion's Dark Brotherhood. He's involved in the side quest, The Assassinated Man, where Francois hires the guild to help him fake his own death, so that way he can trick some predators into thinking he's gone and won't need to pay back any loan. So the message definitely telling the truth. Most humans are wealthy, and it's definitely old family. None of us looking to take place 200 years ago, and they're still secret.
Hello? You must be the one looking at the chart talking about. I've been expecting you. We have not much time, sir. I borrowed quite a bit of gold from some underworld. Yes, I picked up some. Now they don't even want me. They say I insulted them. They sent an enforcer to kill me. His name is Eisenstein, and he's on his way here now. That's why I hired you, so you can fake my death. Well, when Eisenstein gets me, I'll put on the little act. You'll cut me with your poison knife, that vile enforcer will be knife dead. If you send people from Cosmo, Eisenstein must not be killed. That way he can go back and go to force like this. If you look at it, I promise will be put on display in Horror Temple London. You can come to me then, as minutes with the ambulance. Follow that? Good. Eisenstein will be here next month. Hey, buddy. Oh, I do look this well.
There's even more, because in 2016, the Elder Scrolls Online got a Dark Brotherhood expansion. They created a new Dark Brotherhood sanctuary around Cyrano. Keep in mind, the Elder Scrolls Online takes place almost 1,000 years prior to the Skyrim. And in this expansion, if we go down to the Dark Brotherhood sanctuary, we can meet an assassin named Mirabelle Moutier. When asked if she comes from a noble family, Mirabelle will say, quote, "Oh, there's nothing noble about my family, but I left that all behind. The wealth, the boredom, the servants waiting on me hand and foot. One day I strangled my handmaid with a golden chain. And here I am. Life of the brotherhood is 1,000 years ago, this Moutier family was still powerful, still wealthy, and still deeply associated with the brotherhood. Mirabelle is especially notable. However, there is one quest the Dark Brotherhood gives us in the ESO to assassinate the governor of Hampton, and in doing it, Mirabelle helps out quite a bit, revealing that she gets handmaid's tale, and knows Castle Hampton like the back of her hand, which specifically suggests Moutier had a studio ties, or ties to the province of Cyrano, for a very, very long time, despite the fact that they're friends. Dare I say, considering how powerful the Moutier name is, it may not be that far off. Avon Motier himself was or is a member of the Elders Council. We don't exactly know how the Elders Council membership is decided, but the book suggests Emperors take new members of what it's called themselves, and they pick from a selection of the most powerful and wealthy families. Avon to be a strong candidate. Even if the Motiers don't occupy it, there's literally one of the most powerful forces in all of family yet. And their involvement in this conspiracy says a whole lot. So, Titus II now finally dead. What comes next? Who checks the line to receive the throne? And how does policy change in the way of the success business? Well, seriously, only Avon Motier knows. And Avon Motier won't tell. And with that, we are going to wrap up. Just the stage collector, we just need the segment. Against assassination. Thanks so much for stopping by, everybody. What do you think is going on? Do you believe any of the two theories we proposed that maybe he called it in on himself, or it could have called an old second emperor? Or do you have a different idea? Leave a comment down below. How's that for some cooking, Joe?
You know, that is quite. Definitely, Joe. I've been wanting my first win for a while. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's a lot of box snap, so I think I'll have a much better time this time around. All right, you guys need to stop talking about your hooks and grills. I will be the winner this time around. Last game in concept. Whatever you say, Barack, let's see what you got. For reference, I am the pink color. Barack is the blue color. Donald is the yellow one, the color, and George is the red color. Ready to start?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's start it out.
Go for it, Joe. I need to get Joe. Let's see the boys. All right, sounds good. By the way, I went ahead and got the 30 short match, so why not?
That's perfect for King Donald. Hopefully, I can end up being a winner for King Donald game.
Not if I can help it, Donald. You do realize that I'm the favorite to win this game tonight? I'm the winner. Supposed to be the favorite, so a lot of this is left face to rock. Back. The other good be a bomber in your own city job. If this game isn't good like last year, then I think I might be the winner for this one. Except last game wasn't great for us. I just clutched it out because that's the top of the does. I'm curious to see how this game will end up. I'm trying to go through the 2-2.
Okay, let's start the game. What's the favorite favorite, George?
Well, I'm going to the 2 powers this time around. That's the 2 powers. Just the fact I want to be losing money to win for 10. Then I will pursue that. Just no game. For God, man. This is a no game. You're not wrong about that, George. There comes the Russian for God for left and right last year. When I listen to your head against the company Barack, don't do it now. I just need to listen to this. I don't know if this is everything my first guy for the last days. I need to listen. Yeah, let's go think about that. We need to look at that more. I got a high roll.
Stand up, Bill. Last week, it was way too slow. Even I was following the kids of how slow you started.
I just want to cross my fingers and hope that Joe does not go slow again this time around. Let's see the job we're making on this map. You know, I've never played this map before, so I'm curious too.
The moment of truth. Let's see.
Okay, I see Joe Jewelers. And Walt, nice cream Charleston. I'm definitely figuring it out. I love ice cream, Walt. I don't think that needs to be said, Joe. We know how much you love your ice cream.
Well. I guess you'll have an opportunity to play Russian roulette with Johnstown. When you do that, just settle with the rating.
I would never know. That is the total shot. Yeah. It's one thing to let me ice cream, but doing the ice cream stuff is different. I don't care. It's still like trees. All that is not to be abominated, the food of the wood. The dead dog starts now.
If you can focus on the bench for us, I guarantee that you won't get the results you want.
I guess we'll see what's on the job out there. I'm doing the best CC one for $20,000 job. It's going to go to the actual rocks. So the job has a lot of taxes.
If you're like, you're not going to be a problem. It's just a rocks. You better be.
And guess what, Tony? I left a $120,000 job. I told you that I did this year and that I'm on my reserve plan. Watch out. There's cooking rules. How that is completely still. I literally got $50,000 bonus because this is the best possible job for the bachelor to do. I like that job. You got to throw a good like what it's going to do. I think it's pretty simple. I'm not going to be stupid like some people at least the second station. I want to be stupid. I think it's very to get my for free.
Although you started off well, you should know that you know how to start and about how to do it. Let's do it this time.
Okay, I like how you're doing it. Well, it's just the George Kennedy. Anything else? Even though you won last question, this will be the last place to get the solid guy.
Last week is already in the past. I can definitely use that $140,000 salary that the last guy.
I guess we'll see about that.
And of course, I can get that job because this team doesn't want me winning.
Is that what it looks now?
Then you jumble and slow it down the phone.
Yeah, I don't know if you put it in feeling down there. It's doing the requirements for you to move around and make the city flutter with that. You're on the city down like that. Yeah, going down and something else. No one after you to think of it. I think you should get focused on your thing. Yeah, hopefully I don't have to say something $50,000, but maybe you can fix on my face. That's good, lucky I'm not going to be high. Okay, we're off. Chill out. We'll do it with the first thing. I'll leave it as you say. Let's do it.
Surprised that you got the $120,000 paying job, and that did not happen. The perfect damage pizza made to ship. Hope your thought of big appetite.
Named Conrad Harrigan, family man. And if you cross my family, well, you better quit.
Okay, so I need to say this at the very beginning of the video. I'm not to be trusted. I get this information wrong all the time. And I am ashamed about that because we've made a bunch of videos over the past few days regarding this player, Ivan Demidov, and his situation in the KHL. And it seems like every time we make a video, I say something that's proven to be incorrect days later. And I apologize for that. I know y'all are in the comments going out there and correcting me. Believe me, I see those. But ultimately, this situation has gotten so much more weird that we need to talk about it one more time. I can't believe it's gotten to this point. Because Ivan Demidov, right now, is a 19-year-old who is the #1 point producer on SKA St. Petersburg. 2 games left to go in the regular season. He's got 49 points in 64 games. He's on pace for 51 points. So assume he gets 2 points in the remaining 2 games on the year. That is, if he plays the remaining 2 games of the year. He is the #1 guy on points on this team. Second on the team in points is Alexander Nikishin, who, by the way, is a defenseman. He's got 46 points on the year. Grigorenko's got 44. Plotnikov 43. Gritsik 43. And everybody else is there, too. Demidov is literally the highest producing player on this team. And he is going to become a healthy scratch. Let's go out there and read this. Andrew Zardanowski went out there and said that Ivan Demidov will be a healthy scratch for SKA's next game, and head coach Roman Rottenberg insinuated that Demidov will remain a scratch for the playoffs. Demidov is SKA's leading scorer. Now, let's go out there and take a look at where I went wrong here. Demidov's KHL contract goes to May 31st, 2025. Not May 1st, like I had said the other day, May 31st. You know, it's kind of weird because I'm always thinking about these contracts like, yeah, when is it over? When can he sign with Montreal? When can he be brought over? And a lot of people are just saying, oh, May. I didn't know it was May 31st, guys. I apologize. I'm stupid. I'm really, really stupid. Daredevil can, however, technically buy his way out early before May 31st. The final regular season game for SKA is on March 22nd, and then the playoffs begin. SKA is not expected to go beyond the first round given their historically bad season. Gee, I wonder why this season has been historically bad. It's almost like they have themselves a head coach who doesn't really know how to make the team win. Great. They should just release him then. Alex goes out there and says, the Russians are waiting for a big payout from the Canadians. At this point, do like Philly did. Hand them a couple of millions, and the Habs are going to remake that money the first day he is signed in Montreal. And then Zadarnowski goes out there and says, yeah, NHL teams cannot pay to buy out contracts. It's against the CBA. The player can buy himself out, though, correct? Yes, if his early termination request is approved by the team, but I doubt that SKA will approve it. Might I remind you, last year Matthew Mishkov was...
Welcome back. All right, yesterday I talked about the New York Rangers. Today I figured let's talk about the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to go through the teams that are in the run for that final wild card spot. So if the big stuff is true, that means we won't have the playoffs this year because somebody's going to make it out of these videos that I'm putting together. That being said, the Montreal Canadiens have currently got themselves above that playoff line, and I think the upcoming schedule, well, strength of schedule will tell you they're 19th. No, there's some tough games in here. They've got back-to-back against Florida. Philadelphia is never an easy game. Is it winnable? Absolutely. But they've got two against Philadelphia. Those can be taxing physically. And so we can see how things go for them. Starting with tomorrow night, they're against the New York Islanders. That is a home game for the Islanders, a road game for the Montreal Canadiens. And the Islanders are only 3 points back to the playoff spot. So that's a huge game for the Islanders. Huge game for Montreal. We'll see how that one goes. Then they come back home on Saturday to play Colorado. Colorado's playing very, very well. And so that's a good matchup right there.
Win battle with Beyblade X. Collect, customize, and complete with your perfect bet.
Then they go on the road. They play in St. Louis on Tuesday. St. Louis is not in a playoff spot currently, but they're tied with Vancouver for that final playoff spot. So, while they may not technically be in a playoff spot, they're close. This is where strength of schedule gets some of the bases. There are teams at the top of the league that are definitely going to rest some players down the stretch. So the last couple of weeks of the season it may not be as daunting a task against the Jets, against the Capitals, against teams like that. It might be tougher to go against teams that are fighting for that last playoff spot, including St. Louis. Then after the game at St. Louis next Tuesday, on Thursday the 27th, they're in Philadelphia, and then the next night they're in Carolina. So they have to make sure they bring their A game for both, that they focus on Philadelphia, they don't look ahead in Carolina, and if they do that, it should be okay. The thing is, they have 3 games in 4 nights, because on the Sunday, the 30th, they're in Florida. So that is a difficult 4 games playing right there. St. Louis, Philadelphia, Carolina, and Florida. The only one out of the 4 that I would say could be easy, and using air quotes for that, would be Philadelphia, but we shall see. Then they come home, they play against Boston on the 3rd of April, which is a Thursday. Boston's 4 points back, and Boston would love to ruin Montreal's playoff dreams, exactly the same as Montreal loves to ruin Boston's playoff dreams, which Boston's playoff dreams are kind of gone at this point, but hey, you know,
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Nate here. And from powerful, dangerous artifacts to mundane articles of silverware, Skyrim's many quests will often see players interact and be rewarded with a number of unique items. Indeed, while the Elder Scrolls V is a game of many weapons and armors, the coolest often tend to be associated with specific missions and such adventures. So, in today's video, we'll be paying tribute to a few of the most memorable and greatest of that crop, as we take a look at my top 5 quest items in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Real quick before we begin, a brief word from today's video sponsor, my Instagram page. I know, a brand that I'm very excited to be working with. I'm currently running a tool to notice whether or not I can save my gear, and I just kind of want all of the data possible on that. So if you're interested in participating, please leave me a comment down below. But you always know I am. Without any further ado, let's get started. Warm up first. Today's video will begin deep underground, below the island of Solstice, in the depths of Raven Rock's tunnel, as we start with the Blood Skull Blade. This unique two-handed greatsword is derived during the quest's final descent. It begins shortly after the end of the mine, and was to be an argument included an evil orchard named Precious Cerelius and one of his fellow miners. Regarding the death of Perseus' great-grandfather, let's go into after the debate and ask what it was all about. Questions will reveal to the donation that over 2 centuries ago, his great-granddad, Precious Cerelius, was worked at this same mine before mysteriously disappeared, never consumed again. It's this Empire Company, which was running the mine at the time, and it still does today, claims that Precious just died in an accident, but refused to provide any further answers. And if the man is more seven fast, Prometheus isn't fine, and suspects that his old ancestors was involved in something far bigger than what he was told to. The last was wanted to venture deeper into the mine, into a few secret chambers that he recently dug up, and goes to the search for answers. Our journey will eventually lead us to discover an entire day-and-night thrilling beneath the mine, and within it, the skeletal remains of Gracie, as well as his journal, and the Blood Skull Blade is being before. It turns out Precious was right. As we learned with Gracie's journal, back when he was working in the mine 200 years ago, miners accidentally broke into his room, and Gracie and his assistant were sent to the school. They learned that the structure was built by a now extinct clan of ancient nobles, who once a famous aura, and called themselves the Blood Skull. Within the ruin, Gracie also discovered this sword on a pedestal, and when he removed it, Justin the stronger will break, and immediately attacked the enemy assistant. His assistant died fairly quickly, but Gracie was somehow able to hide him, and for the next few days, Warren tried to keep his way as the bearer, before he himself was eventually found and murdered to death by a dog. Upon giving his journal to Preston, and finally explained the fate of his grandfather's name, the son extra distinguished enough. However, the Bloodstone blade comes with a unique enchantment that allows the sword to fire a magical wave-like projectile whenever you power attack with it, that does another 30 damage upon contact. The wave travels about 5 yards, and can even penetrate through walls, making the Bloodstone blade both an effective ballistic and melee item. Aside from what Rachel's journal narrates, which admittedly isn't a whole lot, we don't know much about this item, what the Bloodstone tribe did to empower such abilities, or why they did so in the first place. But the questions it leaves us with only make the blade even more encapsulated in my opinion. So, the power to decimate enemies from afar, but still mystify and awe players up close, so cement the Bloodstone blade among the Drycore DLC's most memorable weapons. Next on our list, and perhaps the most popular of today's video, is the legendary Companion's Battle Axe, Wuthrak. Legend has it that Wuthrak was originally forged thousands of years ago, and was the personal blade of the great Nordic hero Ysgramor, during his conquest of Skyrim against the Snow Elves. It's said that Wuthrak was forged by Ysgramor's son, and made out of the tears of breathing thorns. Its name, in fact, translates to Thor's Spear. Being the descendants of Ysgramor's old clan, the companions held on to the axe after his death. However, over the past few thousand years, its condition slowly deteriorated, and the item has actually broken up into a bunch of small pieces, becoming totally unusable. Shortly before the events of Skyrim begin, many of those pieces were stolen, an essential aspect of the companion's trust line will depend on all that. But after the completion of their story arc, the companions will successfully have recovered all of the treasure, and before using it to play in combat, Wuthrak's stats are pretty much on par with those of a typical Borak. Between 25 points of damage with every hit, at the best response of 2,007. As you might imagine, an ancient legendary battle axe, once wielded by one of Skyrim's most revered forms of figured wood, Wuthrak also comes with a special chance. It does an extra 20% damage to all element characters. Now, in all honesty, in practice, this usually won't make much of a difference, and it's mostly just a funny little thing. Though the added damage can be somewhat useful with entering into fall or caverns and whatnot. When you know for a fact there's going to be a lot of element characters, and pulling out this weapon might be your strongest option. Practicality aside, though, Wuthrak's historic background and unparalleled skills in Nordic languages select it as an item very much worthy of the notion institution. Coming in at number 3. Oh, this object is quite. Even for a video like this, it's probably not something you expect to defend, as it's not a quest for a sword, per se, nor is it even an unreasonable weapon. Instead, this is now chemically used. I give you it's jolly. So, the dark book quest is still time. Revolves around the guild's plan to send you to Solar Kingdom, supposed to the Emperor Titus II's personal chef, so that you might kill said Emperor. Now, of course, you later learn this is all actually an elaborate scheme by Ashes to betray and get the dragon killed. And the Emperor, you end up killing, it's weirdly useful, but that's all rather good things. Before setting us off on a mission, Ashes will give to the player a small ingredient called a jar, which explains in an extremely lethal way. A legend that just one small thing is more than enough to kill an element. After instruction to put the jar into Titus Beach's sleeve, then you will quickly and if there's anything else you want to add, and we'll be able to tell her to throw in that jar. Presenting it some exotic spice in her cup. Once the meal is done, it will be brought up to Titus. It will after a single spoonful filled up, and the place will be rest. Now, as mentioned, we soon find out this wasn't really the Emperor we just knew, but again, it's happening. Here's the thing. We don't actually have to put the jar root into the stew. When we're making the dish, and the assistant asks us if there's anything else else we'd like to add, what the game does wrongly encourage us to get rid of this. We don't keep this list. Instead, we can just say, no, nothing comes to happen. Who's looks fine? So just right now. If we do this, the jars will remain in our inventory until we have repeated Pirates also won't displacement, so what we get is like the old fashioned way to keep on going. But I digress. So, what's the point of using the jars with too many? Why is it so special? Well, its damage health ingredient stat is absolutely insane. You see, the way the game measures the strength of an ingredient's effects is through numerical values called the magnet. The jars is easily the strongest damage health ingredient of the game, with the damage health magnitude of the 40. That might not sound like a whole lot, but for some context, the second most poisonous ingredient, a riverbed, has a magnitude of 5. Yeah, it blows its number 2 out of the water. So when we add a shard to the damage health function at an alchemy test, we can get some incredible results. Creating books is capable of inflicting thousands of points of damage depending on your alchemy skills. I personally was able to quickly rip up a 3,000 damage health poison for this video. I cannot understand how powerful these things can be. This will allow you to one-shot literally 10 enemies in the game. Think about it. The enemy force ancient dragons. Skyrim's most challenging bosses can be eliminated with a single arrow shot thanks to the John's point. It is truly amazing. Now, of course, obvious caveat here is that Hester only gives us a single jar, and you can't get any more legitimate in the game. You can't buy or buy some more in Wild, nor can you play this one and get more at a more fine bar. So if you're someone who gets very careful, my recommendation will always be just take something in your inventory for emergency. When you get a boss battle, you absolutely just cannot confront or run into a skill pickle, this will bail you out. But until then, again, I must stress, it's a good idea to hang on very. Before it's fun, I'll give you art. Or, more specifically, the spell that allows you to stun. To unlock it, you'll have to head out to the soul camp. That the most point of the world, which houses the soul of those who've been soul dressed, where an undead voice named Artifact sitting in like a king, but running around in terror. Underneath the small stone structure near the castle, you'll be able to find Artifact's door. Surrounded by some spirits, you can transform into Mistmen when you approach. Simply play the Mistmen and pick up the scroll, and the scroll of the doors will manifest before your eyes. He'll tell you that he and his force were sent here after a nasty run-in with the Necromancer. He absolutely hates the soul camp, but felt really bad that his force ended up here too. Thankfully, by taking his soul away from those evil spirits, he somehow freed Artemis. And in gratitude, his still soul-trapped Helena will continue the summon Artifact Conjuration spell, which will allow you to summon the Lord to any outdoor location and use it as a pack. So you can let the animals see the world. The Lord admits that, again, he doesn't want to stay in the soul camp, but will also states that he's at least brought his horse to the police. Before he disappeared, leaving him with all alone. Overall, Summon Artifact is probably one of my favorite spells in all of Skyrim. As a mount, he acts exactly like a normal horse, with a handful of especially useful advantages. For one, he can't be killed. If too much damage is taken, he'll simply despawn and can be resummoned again. Additionally, he's the only horse that can be used on the island of Solstice, and it blasted. Which, by the way, yes, despite not really being an outdoor location, the game itself still classifies Blackridge as just that, And let's see some of our back there too. Unlike most configurations, though, you also don't really need to worry about a time limit with RBAC either. You can stay mounted for as long as you please. So if you touch under this for more than 60 seconds, you still be fun and you can use on it again. Personally, in my own experience, this spell is especially helpful when you're over its cover and just can't move around all that. And somebody RBAC right in front of you is an excellent way to give yourself a lift because you have safe against 4 players and it takes quite a building up to the openings. Quite kind of expensive. Anyway, not much more to add here. And a main course with some amazing characteristics, then definitely worth the time. And finally, last but not least, I feel it's more than appropriate that we with this date part of that. And I think the best one to do that is go up to the rough. So you might favorite stack of the game, and more possibly the entire of the sports transactions. The Storm's Eruption will be awarded to the Dragonborn by the Arena, favorite god of horror and nightmares, always with the completion of the quest, Waking Nightmare. These features decide this arena extract, and still the specific phrase you really didn't like. Aside from looking absolutely terrifying, the Storm's Eruption has a really unique way of doing damage. You see, when it's inspired the enemy, it will do silver damage in around a 6-foot range. But it's more than close.
Franchise
Because it's
continues.
with this really good